we had a very interesting morning session. For those of us that were here, um, for the morning session, I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you had a lot of questions answered. I hope that the session, kind of shed light into some of the things that you were thinking about or, trying to get answered. If you didn't have that answered, not to worry. This is just the second session. We have 7 sessions, all through the induction week. The first session we had this morning, Monday morning, second session ongoing, and we have 5 other sessions Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and a final session on Thursday. A lot of us have had questions, and I would answer this now. It's important to attend all the sessions. The morning session is not a duplicate, or we don't have a duplicate session in the afternoon. Every session is unique, well curated to, give you the information that you need to, get through this entire cohort. So please, please do not say, "Oh, attending morning session, I don't have to attend afternoon. Attended afternoon, I didn't attend morning." That it's not optional. It's not alternated, or you have to attend all the sessions. Have to attend all the sessions to ensure that you're a part of it. All right, before we comment what we need to get to this session, this afternoon session is well packed. We have an introduction to cloud engineering. We call it the cloud engineering 10,000 feet. This is basically for those of us that were asking earlier, cloud engineering, cloud computing. Can I do DevOps? Can I do this? Yes, you get to understand basically, 10,000 feet, all an overview of cloud engineering, get to know what's about. We'll do that today, and of course, we'll do that for data engineering tomorrow. One of the frequently asked questions that we had so far is, "Oh, I want to do front end, or maybe product, maybe UI UX." Unfortunately, for cohort 6, we do not have any of those specializations. We are only going to be doing cloud and data engineering for cohort 6. Not to worry, relax yourself. We will be doing that in the coming cohort. So if this is not what you want to do, if you feel like, "Oh, I don't think cloud engineering, I don't think data engineering is something I want to be a part of," that's okay, right? Just stay in the Slack channel. We have other trainings that will be available to you. We have, maybe cohort 7, maybe cohort 8, but even before this cohort, we have different webinars, different packages that you can benefit from. So relax and get the best from this. Okay, that being said, is Blessing on the call with us now for cloud engineering 10,000 feet? Okay. All right, we don't have Blessing on the call yet. While we're waiting for Blessing to join us to start cloud engineering, I'll probably take some of the questions that some of us have. Okay, so let me get the first question. Do we get a replay, especially when network issues affected our ability to connect? No. We would not get a replay. I want to believe, like I said, like we said earlier, most of the questions, most of the things you need to know, we'll put it in the FAQ that will be shared at the end of the session. So we will not get a replay or notes. Okay, are we getting notes? No, we will not get notes on this. It's important that you're here to attend experience. We understand that you can have challenges with network or other things, but not to worry. As you join, as you comment in the in the program, you get all you need to excel, basically. So just join as much as you can. Be like me, fight the network. I also had a bit of network issues, and I think that's why Blessing hasn't joined us yet. So I understand the challenges. There are things we cannot control. Let's try to walk through what we can control, and we promise to help you through the process. Is it allowed to do both cloud and data engineering all together in this code? This is a funny question because I mean, we get to answer the question every time. As much as we know that you are very zealous and you want to do everything, we advise you to stick to a path. As OJ mentioned earlier, it is a rigorous rigorous process. And I think you get to know that. We have on this afternoon, we'll be talking to some of the current students in Cohort 5, and they will tell us about their experience a little bit. So we understand that it's a very intensive process, and would advise you to stick to one part so that you get the best out of it. Trying to do both may be too much for you, and we would really want you to get the best of it. How many times are we meeting this week? I think I only have links to Monday's session. We're meeting 7 times this week. You should have links to morning and afternoon sessions. The same link applies to morning sessions. The same link applies to afternoon sessions. All you have to do is register again for the session and join. Like I said, for someone asking about attendance, the platform is awesome that it allows us to get data of everyone that joins the session and even how long you stayed on the session. So do not worry about attendance and say, oh, they didn't take attendance. Don't worry. As you joined, and attendance was already taken. The time you joined, the time you left, if you had network issue, you have to join like 5 times. I'll see that too. So don't worry about it. Just enjoy the session. Use the same link, right? Just click the day you want and then re-register and attend. All right. Someone says, hello, madam. Okay, I think this is my fault, Sarah. My name is Bolanle. So you could just say hello, Bolanle. There's no madam here, just Bolanle. So I think I should introduce myself. I think I didn't do this earlier. My name is Bolanle Ogunleye. And call me Bolanle for years. I am the Learning and Development Manager at CIL Academy. I will be managing the administration of the academy, both for the induction week and, of course, throughout your stay in the Zero to Techie program. So, yes, you'll be hearing a lot from me as much as possible, and maybe we'll get to have, conversations along the line. So, yes, Sarah, so you're saying good afternoon. Could it be possible if you could speak louder? Oh, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me now? I hope I'm a bit louder or clearer. I'm so sorry about that. It's probably network. Okay, so let's quickly comment so that we do not take any more of our time. Blessing, can you hear me?
Loud and clear for the time being.
That's awesome. I think we'll just manage that. Okay, so Blessing, over to you.
Yeah, we've tried to fix the situation. We hope the fix works. If it doesn't work, don't worry, by tomorrow we would have fixed it. So once again, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are at this time of the day. Hopefully your day is going as planned, and I'm glad to have you on board today. My name is Blessing Udoisang, and I lead the engineering team within Secure Intelligence and also lead the faculty within the academy. So this morning, I took you through a quick run of what I think you'll be seeing when you join the program in terms of data engineering and cloud engineering. This afternoon, I've picked cloud engineering to focus on, not because I particularly love them more than data engineering, but because that's what Bolanle asked me to do. So blame Bolanle for that. We'll look at data engineering, I think, tomorrow or next. But yeah, there will be a session like this also on data engineering. Again, as before, I'm not big on slides. I don't sell slides, right? I want us to talk. I'll talk a bit, take your questions. Okay. Um, First of all, cloud engineering is a very wide concept. And on the slide you're seeing on your screen, we've tried to break it down into the several components within. Okay. Cloud architect, software engineer, security engineer, systems engineer, and network engineer, all with cloud on them. So if we're looking at who is far most removed from day-to-day hands-on configuring things and fixing things or writing code, all this sort of stuff, we look towards the left, okay? And then towards the right for a bit more hands-on in terms of cloud. The architect understands the components that's required to build out a complete cloud infrastructure and service. And so the architect focuses on designing out what that should look like. So if you've got a solution you want to implement, The architect is going to draw up the components that is required within the cloud resources and the cloud services to bring that solution to life. So the architect needs to understand a lot of the concepts, understand the broad principles and the services available within each cloud service provider, but doesn't necessarily need to be able to, for example, go out there and create a virtual machine if need be. Okay, it doesn't need, he or she doesn't need to be able to do that to be able to do the job that's required. Moving to the cloud software engineer, you're looking at same typical software engineer that you know. There's no big difference to it other than applying that same principle and concept of software engineering, this time in a cloud scenario. It does require some change in mindset because normally when you're doing your software engineering before the cloud, there are ways that you thought about certain things which doesn't therefore apply anymore. So for example, a typical web developer would at some point have installed a web server like Apache, HTTPD or Nginx, or one of the XAMPP, WAMP, light servers on their system to be able to test out what they are doing, right? We went past that phase to the point where we had things like Heroku, which did give you a platform and you could just deploy your applications. And we've got to the time now that in the cloud era, if you like, as of now, you're able to just simply write some code in a particular language of your choice and take it to a cloud service provider, upload it somewhere, and then you're done. You've got a web application. So whilst there's a little bit of thinking in the way you both deploy, run, optimize, manage, and scale your software, the principles still remain the same. You will still have to think about the solid principle, object-oriented design. Okay, you still have to think about your patterns, things like what is it called? Adapter, facade, interface, all of those things, they are still there, right? All those core principles of software engineering, the gang of four that you all know, will still be there. But in this case, just a little bit of mindset shift to how you now apply them within the cloud. Okay. You move from there to a cloud security engineer. I think when I look across all of this, it's almost like I'll be repeating myself because the core concepts are the things you probably already know, but it's a shift of mindset to where you are applying it, which is within the cloud, that makes it particularly different. So as a cloud security engineer, again, you're thinking of all the important bits of security engineering that you put into either your solution, your software, or a service you are running. So if you're a cloud security engineer, you're trying to secure an API, an endpoint, let's assume you work within Twitter, right? Somebody wants to know how many people have followed them today. There'll be an endpoint that you have to hit, okay? www.twitter.com/ how many people have followed me today as an endpoint, for example, okay? It wouldn't make sense for that endpoint to be continuously hit by the same caller, the same requester over and over again, say like a million times a second. It will be like, okay, why does this requester need to hit this endpoint a million times every second? What exactly is this requester trying to get? So that kind of raises alarm bells and go, okay, if all you want to know is how many people have followed you on Twitter today, you probably want to hit that endpoint a few times a day, not a million times a second. So a cloud security engineer will say, okay, as a principle for this endpoint, for example, try to make sure that you don't allow the same requester. You could identify them by their IP address. You could identify them by a specific key that you've given them when they call the endpoint API. You could say, okay, I don't want any single caller or requester to hit this API endpoint more than, say, 2 times every minute. And then you place that limit. That way, everybody trying to get to the endpoint can securely get there. If you don't do that, if one person is hitting it 11 million times per minute, then it does mean that there are other people or other requesters that are not being served as a result. So basic principles like that, if you're going to put up a database in your architecture, even if it's in the cloud, common sense will tell you that that database should not be public. So a security engineer would make sure that things like that don't happen. You don't go out there and put a database with everybody's fingerprints and everybody's photograph and their home address and give it public access so that anybody anywhere in the world can query and retrieve the data. It has happened before. I'm not going to mention where, but things like this are what a cloud security engineer would prevent. Looking at the security of the solutions, the services, the software, the applications that we're putting on the cloud. But it has to be that mindset of thinking from a cloud point of view. Because don't forget that if it's on the cloud, potentially it's open to the entire world. But how do you then prevent that? There's a way you build out your solution and make sure that components of those solutions are private and other components are public facing. These are the remits of a cloud security engineer. A cloud systems engineer is one I'm kind of thinking, yeah, I wouldn't call it that. I see why it would have been labeled as such, but think more like the engineer responsible for building out the components. I talked about components at the architecture level, where you design, you're saying, okay, we're going to need 10 virtual machines, we need 3 databases, we need 5 storage systems that would make the solution. The cloud systems engineer would then try and create that. Now, in today's world, we don't do that one by one. So if we need, like, typically you need loads and loads of virtual machine for any solution you're running today, but you don't go and create them one by one. You use a concept popularly known as infrastructure as code, which means you write some codes that says, I want 10 virtual machines, I want 2 databases, I want 3 storage locations, I want 2 network endpoints, and then you submit that to a platform somewhere, and that platform takes it and okay, I understand what you think. I think you're looking for here. I'm going to provide them for you, and it provisions all those resources. So a cloud systems engineer will definitely sit on that and make sure that that can be created and managed, operated, and evolved as time goes on. The one thing you'd recognize within the cloud is nothing stands still. It evolves as we go. Then there's a specialist down there at the right-hand side, a cloud network engineer. Now, a cloud network engineer has that specialism on networking. The thing that makes the cloud work so well is that you've got a provider who has got so much resources in a particular location. And I'm kind of thinking most of us on this call, we have a sense of what we think the cloud is. I hope there is no one on this call who thinks the cloud is something invisible out there. No, it's not, right? It's basically someone or a company, in this case, let's take Amazon, for example. They've bought loads and loads of compute resources, right? Loads and loads of servers. They've put them in a data center somewhere, okay? And then you're saying to them, oh, I only need this big size of a server. And they go, okay, now we can give you that, no problem. Just fill this form, fill that form, and then you put that up and they give it to you. So a network engineer is really important in the whole grand scheme of things, because the only way you get to the provider's solution is through networks. Okay, Amazon is not going to bring their infrastructure to your house or to your company in order to serve you. That's not going to happen. Amazon will choose locations where they put their infrastructure. Okay, and in some cases, some of you would have heard this being called regions. So Amazon has a region, for example, in South Africa. They have one in London. They have one in Ireland, in US. I don't think there's one in Nigeria yet. Okay, we know there's none in Nigeria as of now. But how do you then get to those regions to consume the service? It's going to be through networking. And when you've set up your fanciful web application, your user still needs to go through some form of networking to get to that application and consume it. So networking is big, it's fundamental in the grand scheme of things to do with the cloud. So if you are a cloud network engineer, you're looking at different ways over which the person you're working for, your organization, you're looking at different ways they are able to consume the cloud service providers' resources over the networks. And when they do that, and they create a solution for their customers to use. You're also still looking at what are the ways we expose these solutions to the customers so that they can have access to it. Okay, so there is a lot of blurring the lines across all of this. I'll be happy to say to you, yeah, there's a cloud architect who is not a cloud software engineer, blah, blah, blah. No, quite doesn't work like that. Across the spectrum, there'll be mix and overlaps, as I always say. You might meet a cloud software engineer who's got some very good security knowledge up there, and you might meet a cloud systems engineer who is also a cloud network engineer, right? But these are just an attempt to call out some of the things you'll be doing as a cloud engineer. You might either be creating a solution based on the components by putting together different components and different services to create a solution, okay? Or you might be writing software that powers that solution. If I want to write a software that allows people to vote from the comfort of their home, okay, mobile voting, e-voting, call it what you like, I might need a cloud software engineer who will write that piece of code for me that would run the application. I'll need a cloud security engineer who will be saying to me, hang on, you actually want people to vote from their homes? How are you going to secure that? How are you making sure they're not voting twice? What if they have 12 mobile phones, right? And they're voting 12 times? How do you prevent that from happening? Okay. And I'm going to have a cloud systems engineer that would say to me, okay, for this solution, you wanted 2 database and 3 virtual machines. All right, here is a piece of code. I'm going to run it and I've built it for you. It's taking me three seconds to build that. Thank you very much, right? I'll need a cloud network engineer that will say to me, oh, hang on, by the way, we're going to create a private network and put all your databases so that when the vote comes in, they're in a private database. We're going to encrypt that database, more or less security there, but then we're going to expose a public endpoint to the voters. And that public endpoint is just for them to reach the application. Okay, they would never reach the database. But once they reach the application, I will now create a sort of internal network between the application itself and the database so that the vote can be saved and the vote can also be counted. So across the spectrum, those are some of the things you would see in cloud engineering. Do you fancy any of these? Is there any more slide, by the way, I asked? Because for me, this has done the job. If there's any more, I'm happy to talk through that. But I'm flipping straight away to the beautiful side. My people of question and answers, where are we? Hmm? Let's go to the comment section and let's do this, right? Do we get a replay? Oh no, this is not the question I'm looking for, especially when network issues affected our ability to connect.
Okay, Blessing,
Yes, please.
I think I've been answering the questions. These ones have just been network related questions. So at
Love
this
you.
point,
Thank
if you
you.
have questions in line with the slides, we can just take questions in 5 minutes.
Okay, let's go. Which ones do you want me to take? And let me know when you want me to stop.
Okay. So let the questions start coming in.
I like that someone is asking, I'm confused. Are we starting today or is it just induction? Yeah, yeah, this is the induction. But even I tell you what, if you attend the induction for the next 4 days, you learn so much that you kind of wonder. So yes, indeed, this is only just the induction. We'll start, I believe, next week, but you get those dates communicated to you. Okay. Thank you, Bolanle. I saw you answered that. So yeah, let me go. Ask the questions that are pending.
Okay. I think there are no questions. All the questions are related to Slack channel. Okay, someone says your explanations are so far they've been quite explanatory. So I think that's why we have minimal questions. Okay, let me quickly take this question from Muidin. It says, how much coding do you need to be successful as a cloud engineer?
Right. Never answer a question with a question, right? Right. As much as is needed for the project. Okay? Because what I wanted to say to you was, I wanted to say to you, how much coding do you need to do to make you happy? But reality, to answer your question, is as much as needed. I would say we are not here to say to you, you have to be perfect. Perfection is an aspiration that I don't know. I think I'll never get to. I don't know if anybody ever gets to. right? I don't think I will ever get to. But we're not here to make you perfect programmers. We're here to make you be able to climb that ladder. And you're going to find that in IT, if you have a clear pathway, you have a clear plan, and you're committed, you get better day on day. However, for a lot of people, when they go to look for jobs, someone will say to them, "Oh, I want you to have 500 years experience in Amazon Web Services." These are big barriers, right? Okay, how about if we can turn that on the table, right? We can say, okay, have some entry level knowledge enough, have some form of commitment, have some form of resourcefulness, be able to go out there, know how to find the answers for yourself. Don't come and consult me, right? We're not practicing where I say to you, I have all the answers, and then anything you need, come and talk to me. We're kind of going to, this program will open up the answers to you where you can find them. Okay. If you know how to do that, if you're resourceful enough and you understand enough of the basic building blocks, that is all you need. Then what do you then do? You apply that to the real life situations that you're going to face, either as part of working with us or working with any other company. Okay. Gone are the days when you needed to cram the entire book or memorize an entire book and become a program. I don't do that, right? I come on my sessions and I Google stuff. For those of you that will be with me, you will see me Googling stuff constantly, and I'll teach you to do that. Because it's not just to Google, it's to know which one to click when you Google, right? So don't think about perfection. Think about, do I understand the building blocks? I've been talking about virtual machine for a long time. Do I even know what a virtual machine is? I don't know what a virtual machine is, and all of a sudden, I'm asking questions about containerization. You're not going to understand containerization. You've not built the foundation coming. So what we want you to do is build foundations, and as we see that you've built, we drop more and more. There's a bit of adapting. I have learners today. They come to me and say, "Oh, look at what we've done." I'm like, "That's cool. Can you do this?" So I step them up, and that's what you're going to see. Hopefully that answers more than one question. I'm not just giving you the answer to that simple question, right? I'm trying to answer more questions beyond that to everyone on the call. Okay.
All right. I'd like you to answer just one question before
Okay.
the session goes. Someone says, can the different components of cloud engineering function independently or work together?
No, they shouldn't function independently. No single function in any system, right? What is a system? A system is a set of interconnected um, components that work together to achieve a goal. Just like in your human body, you talk about the digestive system, right? Just imagine your tongue working differently from your intestine, right? Not going to work. Just not going to work, right? Think of your skeletal system, and then you detach your ball and socket at the knee. It's just not going to work, right? Collaboration is key, right? No matter what you think you know, if you cannot work with people, it just doesn't work. Which is why towards the end of this program, we throw all of you into a project and we leave you there, right? Sink or swim. You have to learn to work with people. Even if you think you are a cloud architect, software engineer, security systems, network engineer, yeah, you still have to work with people. Have I answered your question?
I think you have. Okay. You have less than 2 minutes. Should I take one more question?
If you're happy to, I'm happy to.
Okay. Okay. Let me pick one of those questions. I'm trying to answer some. I know you would answer some in the comment section. So I think you've answered the coding question. So someone says, so for you to become a cloud engineer, we will need to have an idea of software engineering.
You will.
Okay.
Cloud engineer, data engineer, yes to both.
Okay.
Coding can be very tiring and draining, you know. That's Kingsley. Actually not, right? The same way mathematics was frustrating to some of us growing up. It's just because of the kind of teachers we had, right? And the mindset we brought to it. I promise you, programming is fun when done right. Come along.
All right. Thank you so much, Blessing. Thank you. I think you could also help us, answer some of these questions in the chat, in the Q&A section. Like I said earlier, this is a very engaging section that we have for us. You can't learn everything in the induction. Let me say that now, because if you want to know about cloud, you want to learn to code and everything, you can't. So the basics is what we're introducing it to you, basically more of an introduction and induction as it is. So not to worry, we'll answer as much questions as we can. Moving on to the next session very quickly, we have a guest speaker here with us. Our guest speaker is already joined us. So one of the things we want us to understand is while we're trying to introduce you to the program, someone asked a question earlier saying, they were asking about how much they will get as a cloud engineer, or trying to know about, career opportunities. And so as, to introduce us to someone who is, currently in this space, someone doing it, someone that, allows us to see the future. Sometimes when we're looking at where we're currently at, it seems like, is it possible? But yes, so we have our guest speaker here this afternoon. His name is Akin Olopade. He is an experienced enterprise solutions architect with over 14 years of experience in the technology industry. He has a diverse background in operations, planning, network design, with focus on business support system and cloud technologies. He has exceptional interpersonal skills and a proven track record of leading multi-country projects and managing both onshore and offshore teams. Akin is an expert in intelligent network and value-added services, business support system, network architecture, and design. He's a valuable asset to any organization looking to transform their digital services and improve their network infrastructure. Please, let's use our emojis to welcome Mr. Akin Olopade. Good afternoon, Mr. Akin. I don't know if you can hear me. Akin, can you hear me?
Good afternoon. I can hear you loud and clear. It's just like you're making my head swell.
We're so excited to have you this afternoon speak to us. So yeah, I think the slide is moving. I think we just moved to the introduction of all right. So yeah, we're very glad to have you here this afternoon, to engage us once again. And I can see the claps. They're very excited to have you here. Talk to us about our journey. A lot of questions to be answered. So let me hand over to you now. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll just briefly introduce myself, though I really always do not want to agree with that word expert, because nobody's an expert. You think you know this, you always meet people that knows much more than you, but always strive to be the best in what you do. So Akin Olopade, as she has mentioned, I'm a graduate of electronics and electrical engineering from Ladoke Akintola University of Technology some years back. Then I started my career in telecoms with Huawei Technologies. I left Huawei around 2007 as an IN VAS product manager. IN stands for Intelligent Network. Then I moved to Ericsson. I'm sure most of us know both Huawei and Ericsson. They are a major player in the telecoms industry. Then in Ericsson, I moved from an assessed solution architect into an experienced solution architect, then a senior solution architect. Then from Ericsson, I moved to Airtel, where I was a senior manager or the lead BSS stroke digital services, that's VAS, value-added services in Airtel Nigeria. I was in that place for over 6 years, where I was responsible for different products that is being rolled out, that is being configured, day-to-day responding to different things that MTN and Co. launches. Also, by working with Ericsson, I've been privileged to touch base as in work as a consultant for MTN, for Globalcom, and also did some work for Etisalat. So most of the major telecoms player in Nigeria, I worked with them. Then I spent so many years in telecoms, I decided I needed a change. I've been an experienced architect, enterprise architect, done operations, have teams both local in Nigeria and India reporting to me. Then I decided, okay, let me move to cloud. I started my cloud journey by doing different certifications. I did some in Azure, then I did some in AWS, and did my TOGAF as well. Then I left Nigeria, moved to UK. And when I moved to UK, I started work with a company called Cognizant. Cognizant is an IT consulting company, and what they do is basically they help different organizations, no matter whom you are. It can be bank, it can be telecoms, it can be universities, it can be different organizations. They help them in their cloud journey, one, or in their digital services. You want to digitalize your existing IT environment, we do that. Then after some short time with Cognizant, I moved to my current role, that's a cloud solution architect with Microsoft. So I want to stop there because I know people have a lot of questions. I still have one or two things I would like to say at the end of the session, but I think more for me is just to be here to tell you guys that it's only the thing you cannot dream that you cannot achieve. If you're able to dream and you're able to do the hard work, then you will be there, you can get it. I think somebody asked a question that I was laughing at before my introduction. The person was asking about how much a cloud engineer or something earns. I was like, yes, generally we know IT people earn better pay than most of the other services now, apart from people in the oil industry, which is not as booming as it used to be. So don't just let your eye be on that amount, because firstly, you need to develop your skills, your experience, then you can start taking of that money, then you start rolling in. If it is to give you assurance that, oh, is it a pathway where you'll be able to take care of your family? Yes, I can tell you that. But first, try to get those skills and experience. As the previous speaker was trying to show you the different type of roles that we have. Let me pause here and questions, please.
All right. I will be taking some of the questions. All right. Someone says, can someone without basic in engineering be in this co-ops or cohorts? I guess basically maybe the person's trying to ask, can someone without engineering foundation, take a cloud and data training like this one?
Okay, so I have friends that are architects or even senior managers in telecoms. Some did estate management. Which other one have I come across recently? Somebody was telling me he studied geography, and if they did not tell me that that's what they studied, I wouldn't believe it. So yes, it's not just people in engineering that can do this.
Okay, thank you. All right, we can drop our questions in the comments, the Q&A box.
Okay, so while the questions is coming in, so the previous person was talking about the different roles. Yes, I agree with some of the things he said, and I might not fully agree with some. Yes, an architect, sometimes we see it as, oh, it's not technical or hands-on, but I tell you, an architect of today, you want to do all, you need to have some basic hands-on. You might not be like to the low level of an engineer, but you must be able to even set up a virtual machine, because as an architect, one of the things we do day to day is we do proof of concept for our customers. And when you're talking of proof of concept, that you are setting up an environment for a particular new solution or service that your customer is looking at. So you must also be adept to be able to do that. So an architect is also, I'll tell you, like a master planner. Just like you have, when you want to build a house, the first person you talk to is going to be an architect who is going to draw up everything you need. So as a cloud architect too, then that means that architect, in terms of the building architect, is going to have the overall foresight of the things to be put up to meet up the customer's requirement. This is the way the inner side is going to be developed. This way the doors are going to blend into the environment, the color, the shades, things like that. So that means somebody that I must say you must be able to imagine things you might not be able to see. You must be able to imagine them and put them together. So you have broad knowledge of all the product and services for which particular vendor or what particular cloud provider you are looking at. You have very deep knowledge, because when you're meeting with customer, they can ask you questions in different ways, but there is not a problem. Like I said, nobody knows all. If it's not your particular field, you could always bring in some other architect. I've been on projects where I've been the lead architect, where I have about 6-7 architects spread across different continents working with me, because they need to focus on different aspects, and I needed to bring everybody together to form the main solution. So also you bring together so many products to solve a problem. It might be a problem, sometimes it might be a customer requirement, or we want to build this new thing. Customer will just tell you the concept. They don't know what product you put together to be able to achieve that. So you have to do that at times. Then sometimes what we do, apart from just building those solutions, is another thing we do is we perform architectural review of your environment. And what do? We come into your environment, we ask you to log in, show us this, show us that. Then we assess it. Is this well built? Just like you want to bring a structural engineer sometimes into your project and say, oh, this building, does it meet regulations? Are things properly done? So that's what we call an architectural review. And at the end, we'll tell the customer, you've done well. We say, okay, for a particular design, let's say I have 5 pillars that I want them to adhere to. They can tell them, oh, on this pillar, you're doing fine. On this pillar, you're not yet doing fine. One other pillar that we look at critically is always the security pillar, because every environment must be secured. Then we'll look at that, or is this okay or not? Then one of the other things we also do is we help customers to improve the way they'll manage, secure the environment, and govern it. We have access to different principles by which you can use to run your environment, because one of the problems we've seen is sometimes people are so used to the on-prem environment. That means your data centers, now you put everything in the cloud. And like the other person was saying, cloud doesn't mean it's something in the air. It's just not your own data center. It's a data center that's owned by either Amazon, Google, or Microsoft, which you are just buying VMs and services on. So we try to also help our customers in better ways to manage those environments and also to be cost efficient. I don't know if you have questions now.
Okay, I'll look through the question section to see some of the questions. One says, kindly differentiate between cloud and data engineering.
Okay, so when we're talking of data, I don't think the two even with what we said. See, cloud is like a very big container where you can have different things running on in that cloud. So you can have your basic infrastructure, which is going to be when you're talking of things like your VMs and things like that. You could have some infrastructure that what you do on it are data. For example, you have your SQL workloads, and somebody that's just worked on that data workloads like the SQL, you can say, okay, that's data engineering. And data engineering involves different things, ability to be able to bring different data from different data sources together into like a layer where you ingest all those data. What do you want to do with the data? Do you want to use AI on it? Do you want to run some analytics on it? Then you have a presentation layer where you show the output of the data. But that, so invariably we can say sometimes data engineering might be a subset of the cloud environment, and also your data that you are running is not necessarily have to be in cloud. You might be running it on-prem, but just they are not the same thing. But cloud is like you're providing a huge infrastructure where you could have different type of services.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, there's so many questions here. A lot of them are asking about, the program, how do they qualify? I think basically if you're listening to our speaker, you understand that it's not about your current background. This is our Zero to Techie program. Basically, you have little or no experience to comment. All you need is the determination to actually pull through. Talking about, oh, how can I manage this? You understand your schedule better than anybody else. So the dedication that you desire, that you want to put to it, finding the time to actually learn this, planning your schedule, proper time management is what you need for this. Okay, so I have a question from John. He says, "Sir, you mentioned you have worked with a number of tech industry giants in Nigeria. What can you say is the common deficiency that results in server downtime, and what can a cloud engineer do to fix this?"
Okay, so several things can resolve into server downtime. In fact, one of the most commonest is what we have in our environment, which is always power supply. So for a typical data center in Nigeria, you're going to have your generator running 24/7. Some of them, they also connect them to the grid. When I mean the grid, that's the electricity. And once you have those two, you also have a UPS that could retain power. For instance, if you're changing from PATM to generator, you want at that time to be able to still hold those servers so that they don't go down. So, but that's not just one of the things that can make your server go down. There's several other things. Now, you are saying, what can a cloud engineer do to resolve this? So one of the good things when you are talking of cloud is you will just buy a service. Like you want a virtual machine, that's equivalent to just a machine that you have in your data center. Now, you're not going to be worried about one, who is the hardware provider. You're not going to worry about the power. You're not going to worry about cooling, because whosoever is supplying you that cloud environment, it's their responsibility. They provide you the power, the cooling. All you are just doing is just the machine. Let me see it in the best way. It's just like you want to commute to your office daily. You don't want to own a car. Then you have a service, a premium service with an Uber driver that comes to pick you up. It's none of your worries about buying petrol to get to office. You just sit in the Uber service, it drives you to office and drops you off. So those are the differences when you're looking at on-prem and cloud.
All right, thank you very much. I'm trying to see what the questions are. Yeah, you can, put your questions in the Q&A box so that you get your questions answered. Oh, thank you to CIL. Thank you, Doreen. Okay. A lot of questions are on the training. What area of cloud are we focusing on? Yeah, on the trainings, and there's someone in the chat room answering direct question on the training platform. All right, I don't think we have so many questions again. If you do have questions, this is time to put in your question.
Okay, so for the last set of questions, while we wait for them, what I will say is this. See, like Balali just mentioned, you understand your schedule more than anybody. So one thing is you want to grow, you want to get some of these. These are very good platform for you. It's not that I'm canvassing for them, but I wrote about 5 things here that I said you need to do to be wheresoever you want to be. First, you believe in yourself, have a good attitude, be willing to burn candles and go the extra mile. So now joining this, it would not be easy for everybody because you have your day-to-day job and things, but that is one important thing you need to know. Another thing is keep improving yourself. There is nobody. I keep writing certifications even as at now. You need to keep improving yourself. And in fact, most of the professional certifications, after a year or two, it will expire. You need to rewrite it because the rate at which things are changing is very fast. It's just like the medical doctors, they write exam over and over and over. Also a lawyer, you see them, they keep reading and rereading. So same thing is there, you keep improving yourself. And finally, always have a target of where you want to be and what you want to do next. So that will keep propelling you so that you don't stay in a place and be stagnant. So I think that's all for myself. If there are no further questions.
All right. Okay, I think most of the questions it's just about the program, how they can register and all that. So thank you very much, Akin. It was good to have you join us.
Okay, the pleasure is mine. Thanks everybody. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. All right, Akin. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
All right. There's so many questions on the. Yes, thank you. Thank you to those that are clapping. All right, there's a background noise coming in from Nicholas. Okay. I think I have. All right, thank you everyone. Thank you guys. That's very good. Right, I hope we had a very interesting section with Akin there. All right, some of the questions that people are asking, I'll just run through them quickly before we go to the last activity of the day. Those of us asking some questions, I believe probably you missed the morning session or you joined in late or you had network issues. That's why you're asking some of the questions. Someone is asking, oh, how much do I have to pay? Well, this is a free program. You'll be required to take certifications. As Akin told us earlier or mentioned earlier, there are so many certifications to take. He's still taking certification. With over 14 years experience, he's still taking certification. So it's important that you take certifications, you keep training yourself. So saying, oh, what certifications do I need to excel in this career? As you keep growing, you require more and more certifications, you require more access. Okay, but to start with, just commence the program and everything you need we will communicate with you as as we go on. Okay, just start by take it one step at a time. Do you need a certain amount of money? Some people asking about certification, saying I need so that I can start planning. We said it earlier, go online, research. I did mention it earlier. Research. Go online, research all the foundational certifications, research how much they cost. Okay, all we said was we will try to offer you discounts on foundational certifications and so on certifications. This is to assist or help you push you towards excelling in this part. It's not so you can check the cost of this voucher so that you make arrangements for that. All right, the final session. I don't know if Akin or Shu can hear me now. Can anybody hear me? Akin or Shu says he or she cannot hear me. Cannot hear the facilitator.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much, Blessing. All right. Oh, thank you. I could see the hand. So for those that cannot hear, I think it's your network. Please try to refresh, restart at this point. Okay. That being said, we want to move to the next session very quickly, so that we would wrap up in time. Had Akin on this call earlier talking about is he has done, and some of us are looking at it and say, hey, can I do this? Can I put in my time? Can I engage? What would I do to be able to do this? So we have brought in some students from this current cohort that is currently going. I think the cohort started in February, and we have brought in some of those students that were exactly where you were, a few months ago, not a long time ago, so as to, answer some of your questions, to engage you guys, to help you relax. You're feeling, some of these people that come in, they're experts. They don't know what I'm going through. I really don't have any idea. I don't have any experience. We have 4 people on this call, on the current cohort, cloud and data engineers from different countries as well. We have Sophie, we have Nicholas, we have Halvin, and we have Maureen on this call. Can I see the other slide so we can see their face? Next slide, please. Yes. So we have, I don't know if for those that can see the screen, I know some people are saying they can't see the screen. That's fine. For those of us that can't see the screen, what we really need to do is hear them. Okay, so we have some of Cohort 5 students, from Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria. And the first, some people are asking from South Africa. Yes, please, across Africa, across, the globe, basically. So we have some of the students here. We'll be asking a few questions. I will start by asking my questions, just 1 or 2 questions to allow you, ask your questions. All right, I'll start with Sophie. Hi, Sophie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sophie. All right, Sophie, I just want you to give, in a very short time, just tell us a bit about, you were here a few months ago, how you were feeling and how you've been in the program so far.
Yeah, it's been fine. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sophie. The program has been a very good experience. I won't say it's enjoyable, but with time and with hard work, you will succeed. You will scale through. Yeah. So it's been an impactful one. Impactful because I came from a non-tech background. Yeah. So with diligence and dedication, I know you can pull through. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Sophie. So non-tech background, that's of us asking, I don't have any background in tech. I think you get answered that. All right, let me ask Alvin, hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, Alvin, so tell me what skills, or what would I say your experience has been like? Where were you at and where are you now? How far have you come?
So for me, I'm coming in with a tech background.
Okay.
I would say for me, the program has been quite good because I've relearned a lot. There are some things I was ignoring, others I used to postpone, but the program has really helped me a lot to bridge the knowledge gap. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Alvin. All right, I'll be asking the next person. Let me ask Nicholas this question. Hi, Nicholas. Can you hear me? Nicholas, can you hear me? I don't know if Nicholas can hear me. Okay, while we're waiting for Nicholas to respond, I'll be asking the next question. So when Nicholas joins, he can take that question. Maureen, hi, can you hear me?
Hello, can hear you. Good afternoon, Bolanle.
Good afternoon, Maureen. All right, like I've asked everyone else, how has the program been for you? You're here now.
Well, it has been, I would say, really impactful and transformational, I would say. Coming from a background as non-tech, I think I have learned a lot. Right now, I can do some things I never really thought I could have done a few months ago.
Okay. All right. Nicholas is back.
Yeah. Hello.
So, yes. Hello, Nicholas. I can hear you. So yes, I'd ask you the same question. How has it been experience?
Okay. It has been fine from my end. In fact, I haven't learned data analytics before. I actually joined this cohort to learn data engineering, only to realize that I could advance into a different field. And so far, I think the journey has been smooth, and it has along the line. I actually also enrolled in another program in DevOps engineering, and this cloud engineering journey is helping me a lot in my studies. It has been very, very good, and the material shared here are just top-notch content. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you so much, Nicholas. Okay. Do we have students from? So I'm going to just be taking some questions here, to start with, and maybe I'll just, call any of you guys to take the questions or answer the question randomly. So, someone is saying, what certification have you taken? For those of us, what certification have you taken while you were on the program? Sophie.
Okay, yes, I took AWS CCP, that is Cloud Certified Practitioner, and I took also Azure, Microsoft Azure Fundamentals, that is AZ 900. So I took, I have those certifications, and very soon I'll be taking Solutions Architect Associate very soon.
Okay, so I think this answers, the question for the person saying, "Oh, I have, Azure. Is it just AWS?" So you can see that Sophie has done both. And for those of you wondering, "Oh, I don't have any background." Sophie has very little background. She's not from the tech background. She has 2 certifications in how many months? Since February. So maybe this is the word that someone on this in this meeting room needs. Okay, someone is saying, do you have students from Zimbabwe? Yes, we have students from Zimbabwe. We only selected, we can't bring all our students on this call. That's why we just, picked a few students to join the call. Yes, we have students across the board. Okay, and I think this answers the question, certifications. Okay, someone is asking, I think I'll ask this question, I'll ask Alvin now. He has a tech background, so maybe he will be able to. So what certifications did you guys obtain through this? Okay, so what is the most challenging topic or module you have had so far? Alvin, would you like to answer this?
So for me, I would say I've not yet gotten to a point where something has really been hard on me, since I'm from a tech background. But what I'm willing to say is, if you feel that you have come to a point where you don't understand something, or something is being difficult, I can be there to hold your hand and walk you through it. Yeah. But so far for me, I've not found a difficult topic yet.
That's awesome. I don't know if that's the same for everyone. So I think I'll just ask so that's okay. Maureen, what have you found any challenging topic? What's your most challenging topic or model so far?
Well, the most challenging model, I say the present model, that's model 6 right now. Having to really do a lot of hands-on, like hands-on activities and all that, getting to really get into the cloud. Right now, I'm working with, I have the opportunity to work with the Cloud9 environment. I'm trying to, kind of build an app with the Lambda function in Cloud9, like doing these things that I haven't like I never really thought I was going to do before, coding and all that. So this is the most challenging module for me so far. But I believe I'll skate through because so far I am almost towards the end of the courses. So I believe I'll skate through.
All right.
Yeah, Bola,
Okay. Nicholas, what was your most challenging topic so far?
hello, Bola, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I just want to call out that yes, I've been also seeing what Maureen has been doing, and particularly very proud of some of the things she's done. So yeah, well done there. Thank you.
All right. Well done, Maureen. Okay. All right, Nicholas.
Okay, from my end, I think everything has been a component of time. The current model is more challenging because looking at the number of courses we have over there and the time allocated for the model, that is why the current model tends to maybe be more difficult. In fact, it is not really a matter of difficulty, but a challenge because I see it as like a component of time because we don't have enough time. We have to finish everything within some few weeks or months, and that is why we are having the challenge. So I'll still go by the current model. The
Okay.
previous ones have been okay.
Okay, Sophie.
Mine would be working with Bash. Yes, working with Bash. When I was introduced to Bash, when I started working with Bash, it was really tough for me because I had no experience before in it. So, but you know, when I said before that with dedication, you can scale through. So what you just need to do is go extra mile. You have to leave your comfort zone, and you know, if you aim for something, you just have a way to find around it, and then you get your answers. So what I did then was just to go in search of things that I never understood, and I think now it's paying me well because I can do some things on my own that I wasn't able to do before. And working, and also I enjoyed working in cloud AWS Cloud Shell. I could do some things there, and it's really very exciting when you begin to work, when you begin to solve things, you know, when you begin to see that, okay, what you labored for, your hard work is paying off and you're seeing it. In fact, you really, you give yourself a thumbs up. So myself would be working with Bash because I never had experience in it. But what I did was I focused more on the material sense, on the elements, and then I went extra mile to do researches on that. And it's boosted my confidence, it boosted my courage, it boosted my knowledge as well, and it boosted my learning. So I'm really enjoying it now, although with hard work. Yeah, it didn't come easy at all, but with hard work and dedication, diligence, compassion, and passion, with zeal, with grit, yeah, you can do it, and you can do hard things too.
Sophie, Sophie, I remember that session when I said let's do LS, right? You know, you remember. And from there to where we are. Beautiful. So proud, so proud. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, I like the honest feedback. It's not going to be, nobody's going to tell you, oh, it's going to be easy, it's going to be, don't worry, just. But she said something I want to, like, you know, take note of. She spoke about research. She said there was something she tried doing, she didn't get it. She went and had, you know, did her research. And I think we've said that, you know, a couple of times even today. You will need to do your own research. There's been a lot of questions. People say, what certifications do I need to take as a data research? We'll tell you a lot of things. We'll give you access to a lot of materials, but it does not displace your own homework. It takes a lot of determination, passion, willingness to learn, and, you know, researching. You know, what will differentiate you from anybody else is how much, you know, you're putting into it, the amount of research work that you're putting, you know, into it. All right. Thank you for that, Sophie. I don't know if we have questions for them. We can drop our question. Kingsley says, if a lady could do this, oh my God, there's no excuse. Well, now if that's the motivation you need, please. Okay.
Yeah. So, Bolanle, if you don't mind, I just want to just take our time again to thank Alvin, Nicholas, Sophie, and Maureen. I'm so grateful, and I'm so beaming over here, just listening to the four of you, right? I'm so grateful. Thank you very much. In fact, thank you, Alvin. You can see Alvin is even answering questions in the Q&A, and I'm scrolling through and I'm looking at the answers. I'm so happy, right? I honestly, where's my video? Where's my video not on? So you see me beaming from ear to ear, right? I'm so super happy. Thank you very much to all four of you, and we want to do more of this. Okay, I want to see a point where you'll be taking the classes in cohort 6. That'll be fun, and do some hands-on experiments and practical classes with the students coming up from cohort 6. And yeah, thank you. Much love.
Thank you, Blessing. I'm super excited that they're here, saying this and having come this far. It shows how much work they've done. I can see the comment section. I think people are just ready to get in there, put in the work. So yes, please be ready to put in the work. Okay, before we let you guys go, I would give each of you opportunity to say something. What I would say is something that if you were supposed to go back in time, someone in your shoes, what would you tell the person to help them prepare better for where you're at now? Okay, so I'll start from Maureen this time. To go back in time to yourself in February, to when you were taking the induction at this point, and you were going to give yourself an advice that would help you be better prepared for the program, see in a better light. What advice would you give?
Okay, I'll say one thing that has really helped me for these few days is I've developed this dogged will. So I think I had to coin this mantra for myself: when there is a will, there is a way. Okay, so I want to say to those who are joining us that just make up your mind. Like I said something in our last class, our last section. I said we die here. So just make up your mind that this is what I want to do and this is what I want to go for, and I must come out of it. And not just coming out, I want to come out successfully. Okay, so just make up your mind. When we started from the beginning, I didn't know what to expect, but I believe from this few minutes we have spent with you, I believe somehow we have an idea of what to expect. It's going to get tough, as the model progresses, but just make up your mind that this is what I want to do and I must do it. I won't be part of those people that will be dropped at the end of the day. And I think that's what has brought me this far, So I also want to say that the models, when I started, I didn't, I was taking some of the courses, but I didn't give as much time as I should have from the beginning because I didn't know how intense it was. So I want to say to somebody out there, when you start with full force. Like don't be soft from the beginning. Take your courses, make sure you finish it, follow through, give it a lot of time as you can, because I know most people have some other things they are doing, then time management too, and all that. So I think that's what I could say for now.
Thank you so much, Maureen. Thank you. Nicholas. Can Nicholas hear me?
Sorry. When I plan on joining this cohort, in fact, I had early on joined Udacity DevOps engineering program, but then it was more or less like I just wanted to keep myself occupied. I'm actually from a math and finance background, so I had just walked out from my CFA exam room after writing my last paper. So I was just there, I saw this and I applied it. For us, just some few days about starting with the DevOps program with Udacity. So when I started the program, in fact, in the space of 1 week, I stopped it. I stopped it all because I hadn't heard of the CLI before. I didn't know anything about it. So I spoke to someone and the person told me that this is a computer science thing, this is an IT thing. So what are you doing about it? Just stop it and progress with your life. So I stopped it. So along the line, I had this friend in Canada who contacted me and spoke about the same program. And I knew that this was a guy I did math with. Like he didn't do IT, but he was working as a DevOps engineer. So then he told me, this program, if it's just a matter of just having the zeal to finish the program. So after speaking with him for like 2-3 days, I just decided to give this very CIL Academy application a try, whilst also enrolling in the DevOps program I spoke about. So when I started it this time around, I came in with the mind that the Linux or the CLI is doable. It is not for only those from IT background. And because I had that mindset, this time around the story was different. I appreciated, I took it that whether CLI or GUI, I'll still go ahead with it. And when I did that, the Linux was and the Linux and the PowerShell were quite easy to complete. And when I was able to bring those ones down, the other ones just follow suit because everything was just building on the Linux. So my advice to those who think they are coming from background A, B, C, D is that they should just put all those things behind them and just believe that they can do it because no one, I am a math guy, I'm a finance guy, I do finance stuff, I don't do anything IT. But here I am in Model 6 and having taken, the CCP exam. In fact, I'm currently preparing to do the solution architect. So it is just a matter of having the mindset, not your background here. The mindset is what is key. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Nicholas. Okay, Alvin.
Okay, so for me, what I would say is prepare to do hard things because moving forward, the program gets more challenging. And that being said, it doesn't mean that you cannot overcome. So, for example, like me currently, I'm reading for my AZ305 and my GCP Professional Cloud Architect. So the one thing for me, I say I do not need excuses. For let's say, for example, I don't have time to study for this. Where will I get time to do this? No, because in life, everything good comes uphill. Nothing comes easy. And also, I know you might feel very frustrated, especially when you are starting. So feel free to reach out to me or anyone else. Like they said, collaboration is key. So I would say look for teams and collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you, Alvin. Sophie.
Yeah, I don't have much to say in this regard because when I started, I made up my mind to give it my best because I'd always wanted to do this, and because I'd always wanted to do this, it took a very special place and it prioritized my everything. So I gave it my all. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so
Yes, we
so I started with full force. I gave it my best, which I'm still giving because that is what has led me to the Module 5 that we are right now currently. So I think you can do this. Yes. What I just wanted to know and to do is to be passionate about it. You know, when you want to do something, you should be passionate. When there's no passion in that, you won't have a good result. So just be passionate about what you want to do and then see yourself as a cloud engineer in the future or a data engineer in the future. When you see yourself as that, you work towards it. There will be distractions on the way. There will be, I would say that sometimes it will be overwhelming, yes, because when you begin to see the courses on the elements, when you begin to see some things that you've not been exposed to before, sometimes it might want to bring you down, but just please focus on the mantle. Focus on what you have to do, what you have to attain, and where you see yourself in the nearest future. And when you have that in your mind, I guarantee you that nothing can dissuade you or you can't be petrified by anything whatsoever at all. So for me, I was very determined because I wanted to do this for a whole long time, and CIL just gave me the platform. And here I am, and just soaring on top of the platform given me. So I know you can do this because I can, so you can too.
Thank you so much, Sophie. Thank you, guys. I'm so I mean, Blessing, I said it before, but I will say it again. We're so proud of you, so proud of how far you've come. And I believe a lot of things you've said, someone there is, there's some people here that are getting what you're saying and, encouraging them to commence this journey. To wrap up this session very quickly, thank you guys once again for coming in here. I would answer the questions very quickly. Those, because you said drop, a lot of you guys said drop off, and people are just scared. Hey, drop off, how? How does I get drop off? Okay, so attend the induction. Let's start with that. One step at a time. Attend the induction, getting everything you need to get. Yes, the induction, attendance at the induction, being part of the induction is what qualifies you, to be onboarded into the LMS. As you go on in the program, there are different modules. I think Blessing mentioned this earlier, but some people may not have heard it, maybe due to the network, so I'll just run through it. There are different modules, 8 modules. You run through what each module is about. There are 8 modules. At each module, at the end of each module, people will be dropped off. Okay, I would have said may, but I'll be, let me not say may, will be. And this is based off, your dedication, how much work you're putting into it. We can see it. You don't have to download a special app. CIL Academy has its own LMS, our learning management system, where you get to learn. You get access to this LMS, the learning platform that allows you, gives you access to learn. So you join it, take your courses, do your assignments, put in the work, your research assignments, everything required for you, of you rather, and you will, move on, to each module. At each point, in the course of the program, some people will be dropped due to, their level of participation and how much they're doing, okay, during the session. If you have not gotten access to the Slack channel, do not worry. We will send you a Slack invite to everyone that is on this call, just so as to get, you get an email. The Slack invite will be sent so you can join the Slack channel. Yes, the Slack channel is the major platform that we communicate, we interact. We have on the Slack channel, I know for those of us already on the Slack channel, you would have met Blessing Udoisang. She is the community manager, and she'll be answering your questions, engaging you, giving you all that you need. We will be talking about, how to engage on the social media platforms in the coming sessions. But to wrap up this session, like I said, that's why when someone is asking, should I attend morning or afternoon session? For those of us that attended the morning session, you realize that, the information passed across both sessions, quite different. So you would not want to miss upcoming sections. People talking about time management, trying to understand how to manage their learning. Not to worry. Tomorrow we'll be discussing, we have the talent management team talk to us about our learning and reinforcements, how to, manage assignments, accountability, and so many things we need in the course of this induction. This induction, like I said, has been properly curated to ensure that you get the best and understand the full view of the program. We're not going to just throw you in, to watch you sink or swim. No, we're giving you all the tools you need to help you swim and succeed. Okay, so everything you need will be given to you. That being said, I think most of the questions are already being answered. Thank you so much to our current students excelling. They're already, answering questions as well. So, look at yourself and say, this is where I want to be, at a certain time, and you work towards, towards that. In coming sections, we won't just, we would also see people that have graduated from this academy and are already, excelling their careers. We get to meet them as well. So you say, well, I'm meeting a current student. You meet someone that is already in the field. So those of us asking, is this enough to get me a job? Is this enough to get me started in my career? You would get that. Okay, someone is saying my question has not been answered. Do not worry, be patient. Your question will be answered. And if your question is not answered today, ask again tomorrow. We'll get answered. There's so many questions coming in that we're trying to answer as much as we can at this time. Okay, I want to see if we're able to, I ran through most of the frequently asked questions for today. If I didn't get to your question, not to worry. we have a data of all the questions asked. We'll try to answer them tomorrow or in the coming days. Please, please, please ensure you attend the sessions, and of course, participate, listen. There's so many things that you will get from this. Okay, the question from Eto. Blessing, are you still on this call? Maybe you can help Eto answer. Okay,
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, it says data analysis closely related to cloud engineering or data engineering.
Sorry, could you repeat that again?
Is data analysis closely related to cloud engineering or data engineering?
Obviously closely related to data engineering. Data engineering, yes. The way this works, obviously, like I said, is a collaboration across disciplines. The cloud engineers will need data engineers, okay? But if you're thinking about closeness, relationship, and how, so maybe thinking of transitioning from one to the other, yes, your answer is data engineering. Tomorrow, when we do the data engineering overview, you will get the opportunity to see all the roles within data engineering and how they interrelate and how they collaborate with each other. Hope that answers your question.
I believe we've answered the questions. Stephen, I would say this again because this question has been asked like I don't even know how many times. It says, what certificate can I pursue in my data engineering journey?
Should I take that?
What certificates can I pursue in my data engineering journey?
Yeah, I was asking if you want me to take that or you are going to answer it.
Yes, please.
Oh,
I was
okay.
going to
All right.
it, but maybe you should answer it again so that they hear
Okay,
two voices.
Thank you very much. So within your data engineering journey, first of all, remember what I said to you. And a lot of what we do on this program is to shift your mindset ever so slightly. Okay, because people throw a lot of things at you that are totally not correct industry-wise. Okay. First of all, understand that you're coming to work in the cloud. It's like me, I speak English, right? I don't speak French. But if I plan to live in France long term, I'll learn to speak French, first of all. I'm not going to be asking myself, do I want to go and become the French minister for productivity or whatnot? I will say, speak French first. So the first thing you're doing is speak cloud. So you're going to come in, cloud computing fundamentals. You're thinking of AWS practitioner. You're thinking of Azure Foundation. You're thinking of Google Leaders Program. All those are the basics. Get those first. Understand the cloud. Okay, the cloud has its own language. It has its own way of thinking. It has the way it flows. Now, once you get that understanding, you then start to understand the tools that you use in your data analytics space. Okay, in your data engineering space. Now, within each of those, you will then start to major out into certifications that allow you to be fluent in them. Okay, so for example, there is a database specialty, okay, in AWS, which you can then take when you start to go down that line. There is a machine learning specialty certifications that you can then take. Okay, so for me, where we all are right now, I just want every one of us to get to module 3 and get that first certification where we can speak the language, right? If I fly on my cloud broomstick and go for my witchcraft, you can join me and fly, right? If I'm zooming in my plane, you can zoom with me. Be in the know first, and then we'll show you the pathways that you need to go to. Okay? Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, I think it should have answered the question. Okay, this question is funny, but I would ask it anyway. It should be the last question we're taking today. It says, please, acquiring this skill set as a data engineer, does it qualify someone as a DevOps engineer?
No. So your skill set as a data engineer will not qualify you as a DevOps engineer. Okay. As a data engineer, you will primarily be looking at how to get data to where we want it to be. So I give a very clear example. If I'm interested in the result of an election, okay, I know people are going to be voting from different places, right? I know that data is going to go to certain systems, okay? How do I get those data to come to my own system for analysis? So for example, does the Electoral Commission have an open endpoint that I can call to get that data? If they do, how do I call them? How do I clean the data? So maybe the Electoral Commission is giving me data for the whole state, but somewhere in the attribute of that data, they can specify that, oh, for this state, this vote came from this local area. Okay, do I need to scrub that so I can now give a picture of all my local area? What do I need to transform? These are the sort of things you're thinking. This is your mindset, okay? Bringing the data where we want it to be, getting it from source to destination, putting it in the format that we can then start to play with. This is why it's called data engineering. A DevOps engineer, you're more thinking about applications, delivering solutions. How do I get this particular solution written in software, deployed in a server, secure, and getting it operated? So you can see that two different mindsets there. While there may be some relationships there, it is not the same. Clear?
I believe that's very clear. All right, and that leads us to the end of today's induction. Congratulations to everyone who is a part of day one. It's the first step, the first day to, starting this career, growing in this career. You've started day one. Okay, so let's keep up the energy, keep up the momentum. I know it seems overwhelming. It seems like there's so many things you have to do, one day at a time, and you're taking the first day. So yes, you are definitely better than you were yesterday. I mean, if you didn't know anything, at least you've known my name. you start with that. Okay, so I believe that you are on the right path, and one day you would also come, maybe come as an alumni or as a student to say, this is how far I've come, and we will be proud of your growth as well. For those of us wondering, how do I get cut off? Please do not focus on getting cut off. Focus on growing and, transitioning and just putting in the work. Tell yourself that if the cutoff mark, let's assume there's a cutoff mark of 100. If the cutoff mark is 99 over 100, I will get 100. That determination that says if it's only one person that they choose, I will be the chosen person. Putting in that work and that effort, being ready to fight against all odds to get what you want. That zeal. People talk about tech money. Everybody talking about how much am I going to earn. Nobody talks about, the late night coding. See how big Blessing's glasses is. How many frames. Nobody talks about the fact, the amount of time and work. Earlier today, Blessing mentioned he had 7 laptops opened. I mean, he had 7 laptops. That's a challenge on its own. Why would I have 7? Why do I need 7? Okay, I mean, this Blessings airline now is not because of, okay, not to scare us. It's just putting the work, the effort. I know we want to get, better jobs, more money, whatever your reason or your drive is. It has to do with, putting in the work. You will get it. But, one thing is, there's no quick, this Indomie generation that we're in, everybody wants 5 minutes, quick rewards. It's not going to be that. You're going to put in the work. You're going to have to do the work, do everything you need. No quick results, but definitely you will get the result with the work, and you come in here, a few years from now, a few months from now, being better version of yourself. One thing Akin said is, over time, he's still learning, he's still growing, and you will have to put in that work to keep growing, today, tomorrow, and as you keep growing. Thank you very much for joining this session. We look forward to having you again tomorrow. Getting another power pack session. We're going to have more speakers, more things said that would help you, prepare you for the session. We hope you've had a good time, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a good afternoon, good evening, or whatever time you are at. Enjoy the rest of your day, and see you tomorrow. Bye.